In today's video, I'm gonna cover the top 5 emerging districts, specifically in Macon, Georgia, when it comes down to commercial real estate. Now, commercial real estate is much different from residential, and if you clicked on this video, you probably are an investor that's looking to be able to make some extra cash flow, and that's exactly what we help our clients do each and every week, just like yourself, whether it's industrial, whether it's storefronts, whether you're looking for land to be able to build from the ground up, distribution centers, everything in between. I wanna give you some of the insider secrets because most of the time I'm just boots on the ground going and filming these properties specifically for my clients that we have. We go to the property, we check everything going on, check the numbers, and then we send it over to you because you most likely already know this. It's completely different than residential real estate. You can't just pop up Zillow on your phone and look for a specific property and see all the beautiful photos and just run numbers right then and there. You really need a good agent, boots on the ground, to make sure that they can get those numbers and those pieces of information that you need. That's exactly what we're here for. I'm gonna stop selling myself, but I really do wanna show you the top 5 emerging commercial districts here in Warner Robins and Macon, but I'm gonna emphasize Macon here in this video, because here's the deal. It's a secret little hot spot. I know you think of Georgia, you think of Atlanta. A lot of people are thinking Columbus, maybe even Savannah for some seaports. But the nice thing is, price per square foot right now is about $15 in Macon when it comes down to commercial real estate. Now, that is taking all of them and combining them together, and later in the video I'm gonna explain exactly what I'm talking about. But compared to Atlanta, it's almost half the price. We're an hour and a half south of Atlanta. It's a great distribution area. I'm gonna show you why. Now, I'm gonna go over 5 specific areas, and starting with specific area number 1, we're actually gonna talk about downtown Macon, because downtown Macon is getting a full revitalization. The mayor is on an expedition right now, tearing down old buildings and really building from the ground up to make Macon something that's new. Macon in the past has had, its ups, it's had its downs for quite some years now, and it's actually back on the map. They're cleaning up the town. Things are visually looking extremely clean, and that is amazing for people like you and me. And the cool thing is with downtown Macon, we have a lot of startups, we have a lot of food, we have a lot of entertainment, and it's where a lot of people are flooding to. A lot of people are sick and tired of the major cities, especially up in Atlanta, and are actually moving down here. So when it comes down to commercial, Macon is the spot downtown. You want it downtown. It's right next to I-75. Even if you do have semi trucks and trailers going in and out, it's actually extremely convenient to get right off the interstate. And it's a spot that you don't want to miss out on. The growth is unbelievable. And here in a minute, I'm going to show you what those percentages are. But let's talk about number 2. Now, like I was saying, number 2 on the list is going to be Warner Robins Tech Park. If you aren't familiar with where the Tech Park is, look with me here for a second. Warner Robins Air Force Base runs parallel to 129. It's right off of 129, just south of Russell Parkway. There's a lot of industries in there, especially for contractors for the military base. Now, if you don't know the contracting game, it is unbelievable. The government is always paying out high dollar contracts to business owners, and they need places to rent. And it's unbelievable the way that they do these contracts. They are going to make sure that those individuals, as long as they're fulfilling their obligations to the business contracts that they have, are going to be in those places for a very long time. So if you can sneak over there, maybe build some extra buildings or purchase those buildings, renovate them just a little bit, throw them up on a lease, you are going to have some very long-term tenants that are being paid by the federal government, so they always will have money coming in each and every month. Number 3 on the list is going to be Macon's Medical Quarter. If you're looking on the map, right over at Atrium Health, there's a bunch of different hospitals, a bunch of different buildings. I'm not specifically talking about Piedmont. I'm gonna show you on a map exactly where I'm talking about, but it's right where the Atrium Health is. There is a slew of commercial opportunities right then and there, because there are a lot of individuals looking for specific things, whether it's medical offices, biotech firms, research institutions. There are so many research labs coming to the Macon area, and healthcare is one of the primary job sources or employers in the Macon area. So when it comes down to commercial side, if you can get into the medical side of things right in that local area, you always will have good cash flow coming in, and there's always new industries growing. There's always people looking for buildings for that specifically. Number 4 on the list, we're talking about Warner Robins Industrial Hub, and it's specifically located In the southeastern part of Warner Robins, it's bordered by Interstate 75 to the west, so Big Shanty Road to the north and Commerce Parkway to the east. We're talking warehousing, we're talking distribution centers, we're talking manufacturing, and Warner Robins is blowing up. Now, it's tough. It depends on what you specifically need, what your price per square footage requirements are, but this is the deal with Warner Robins. It is exploding. I've heard some nice stuff from investors up in Atlanta. When it comes down to the actual build plans for Warner Robins, with talks with people purchasing and building out our local area, it's supposed to 4x in the next 10 years. And specifically with commercial, we already are seeing a 20% increase within the next 12 calendar months. Right now I'm filming here in November of 2024. And within the next 12 calendar months, it's supposed to be a 20% bump. Me personally, with what I'm hearing, I believe it's gonna be more. It is absolutely crazy what's going on here in the Warner Robins area, but it specifies your needs, or your needs need to be specific to what you need. So again, a lot of key things: logistics, manufacturing, distribution, things like that. And number 5 on the list, before we start diving into some statistics, is going to be the Macon's Entertainment Center. You know, it's actually more of Macon's retail and entertainment district. Let me show you where it's at. So if you're on the western part of Macon, it's stretching along the Autumn Avenue and Foster Street near River Walk area. And you can actually get over here by I-16, and Macon Metropolitan Airport is right next door. So it's ensuring easy access for both local and out-of-town visitors. So this is where you want to go, or where you want to build, or where you want to purchase when it comes down to these 3 things specifically. Number 1, shopping centers. Number 2, entertainment venues. And number 3, dining and nightlife. And already downtown in this area, we have the Riverwalk Shopping Center. We have Autumn Avenue Plaza, as well as the Macon City Auditorium. We got Macon Little Theater. We got Macon Music Fest, as well as plenty of restaurants, bars, cafes, and everything in between. This is gonna be the district if you're looking for that area of commercial. Now that we have the top 5 areas when it comes down to the growth of commercial, let me dive in a little bit to the numbers. It is 2024. A few short days ago, President-elect Trump won the election, and things are changing, and things are changing fast in a very, very positive way when it comes down to the economics. And these numbers most likely are low, okay? These were projections that I wrote last week, preparing for the worst. I'm just gonna be honest with you. These last 4 years, the economy has absolutely been trash. If you can't see that, I don't know why you're watching this video, because if your pocket hasn't been hurting, I don't know if you're investing yet. But now, if you are investing for the first time in commercial real estate, I just wanna say welcome, congratulations, you got in at a pretty darn good time. Now, when we're looking at commercial real estate, population is always something to be able to keep in mind, right? If population's going down, probably don't have a lot of people paying money to be able to fulfill your leases, to be able to buy your products that you're selling out of your stores. So, Macon, 2.5% increase, and Warner Robins is on the up and up with a 3% increase in population growth. Now, with builders swooping in and building out a ridiculous amount of neighborhoods here in the Warner Robins area. And let me paint you a picture here really quick, just in case you don't live in this local area and you don't know it that well. Macon is growing. Macon's a great place for distribution and manufacturing. I think it's phenomenal. However, if you're looking for storefronts, if you're looking for that type of feel, maybe apartment complexes, whatever it may be, look a little south. And the reason I say this is you have Warner Robins, it's on the map. There's Robins Air Force Base. Everybody knows about that area. But do you know about Perry, Georgia, and Bon Air, Georgia, and Kathleen, Georgia? The cities that are high-end, higher end than Warner Robins, the average price of a home is more, income is more, employees, like employed individuals, is higher employment ratio than anywhere else here in the local area. You don't want to sleep on those areas. Now, if you are looking for commercial, I know these statistics are for Macon and Warner Robins. Those are the big cities. If I would have done any information based off the other ones, you probably wouldn't have typed it in the internet, and you probably wouldn't have found this video. But shoot me a text. I'd love to be able to tell you a little bit about those specific areas and be able to get to know you more to see if there is a way that we can serve you and your business. Now, something that I'm proud of is the GDP here in the local area. On average, we are at a 4.2% increase if we combine Macon, Georgia and Warner Robins together, compared to the national average of 2.3%. We are almost at double the GDP growth ratio here in the local area. And it's nice because cost of living is pretty low, especially for the middle Georgia area. Now, compared to places like Florida and New York and Texas and California and I feel like almost anywhere else, we are at a cheaper cost of living and it is phenomenal. So when it does come down to the growth in GDP, you can understand that you probably will pay less for commercial property compared to somewhere else in the United States, especially Atlanta. You're looking at almost a 2x on your spend for the same amount of square footage. However, GDP here in the local area is increasing. You get a phenomenal deal. However, you make that cash flow even faster year after year. That's a huge win. Another thing that you're going to be happy about is vacancy rate. Here, nationally, as of right now, vacancy rate sits right around 12%. Now, I just ran the numbers, took all of the active commercial real estate here in Macon, Georgia, and it came out to 8%. So it's 1/3 less vacancy. That throws some extra dollars in your pocket to be able to wiggle around with what you're gonna do with your cash flow. However, something to be cognizant of, you need to make sure that we run the numbers before you buy something. Macon, Georgia's average rental ratio is $15 per square foot, while Atlanta's is $25 per square foot that you're gonna be able to change to rent. Now, Macon is a large place. If it's in the bad parts of Macon, you're not gonna get the highest end rent. Now, if it's in the great places of Macon, you're gonna get some crazy rents. There's some beautiful places in Macon. Gorgeous places, high-end food, 5-star restaurants, amazing entertainment, clean areas, safe. There's also bad areas, but that's with any major city. So make sure you do your due diligence and make sure that you figure out what the local rental rates are that you're gonna be able to charge for your commercial building. And guess who can do that? My team and I for you. Now, one last thing when it comes down to future projections, when it comes down to the numbers and dollars, Macon has already set aside $50 million for infrastructure improvements. So roads, bridges, and everything else like that, and the buildings that are owned by the government. We're gonna see them looking good here in the future. And then something else to think about, 20% increase in businesses by 2026 here in Warner Robins. So that is individuals based on the percentage of what Warner Robins is currently getting in of new business owners registering their businesses by 2026, 20% increase, 1 in 5 growth, crazy numbers. And again, I can't make the assumption that you know our local area, so I want to make sure I help you in every way that I can. Warner Robins, let's talk about what is actually here business-wise. And the first one that comes to mind is aerospace. Now, Warner Robins Air Force Base is the largest industrial complex here in the state of Georgia, and they have over 60 aerospace contractors currently signed on. That is 60 businesses, right? When I talked about the industrial side of Warner Robins, right outside of Robins Air Force Base, 127, right? Right below Russell. I was talking about that earlier. 60 businesses sit literally right in that local area, and there are some down Russell Parkway, but I just want to let you know, sprinkled right outside of the Air Force Base, a lot of aerospace. It is a huge military installation. They repair airplanes, and we need our airplanes repaired. And then when it comes down to Macon, first thing that comes to mind is healthcare. There's over 10,000 healthcare employees, as well as education and manufacturing are the two other biggest. And for education, I'm specifically talking about Mercer University, we have Middle Georgia State, and then for manufacturing, Delta is actually here in the local area. Now, the hub of Delta is Atlanta, right? Up at the airport right there, largest Delta hub, but they have manufacturing down here, and it's big. Now let's finish this video off with some numbers. Based off of everything that we talked about in the video, I wanna really focus in on one specific thing with Macon. With downtown, that was my #1 rated place, 15% growth, and you can expect an 8 to 10% ROI on anything in the downtown area. If you take everything and divide it by itself, we sit at 10%. It is crazy numbers. But I wanna let you in on a little secret. I've been telling you a little bit about Macon. I love Macon. We help people buy property in Macon every single week. It's a great place. But Warner Robins and the surrounding area has something very unique happening. We just recently saw a vacancy rate of 5% in Warner Robins, With industrial specifically, I like industrial, you know, it's just my thing, you know, that's where my money's gonna go, you know, that's where industrial for me. You know, it might be different from you. 7 to 9% ROI, okay? Very, very, very low vacancy rates. 7 to 9% ROI, specifically in industrial. There's some nice little stuff going on over here. But hey, if you made it this far, I just want to say thank you so much for staying to the end of the video. If there's anything that we can do to be able to help serve you in your business, shoot me a text message at 478-888-7808. I love to be able to have a conversation with you and see what we can do to be able to help you with your investments. We'll see you on the next one.